How you doing, Dylan?
Doing good. How about you, Adam?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for doing this, hanging out for a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
So, what are you doing currently, right now?
So I'm a producer for Fox News Media.
And Outkick, right?
And Outkick, yeah. Technically employed through Fox News Media, but the assignment is Outkick in Nashville, Tennessee.
What are your kind of responsibilities? Like, what do you need to be like fluent in to be able to handle those?
As a producer, it's booking guests mainly, coming up with show rundowns, new segments, new topics every day. Obviously, you got to be pretty plugged into the sports world. That's mainly it. Mainly booking guests because we have our show 5 days a week. It's a 2-hour show, Monday through Friday. And we normally divide it up into 4 different segments, plus anything that's topical throughout the week.
So how did you kind of like start on this path towards this profession? Were you doing like media and video in high school?
No, my high school was very small. We didn't have any type of media. They do now. I think 2 years after I left, they came up with kind of a little media program, just broadcasting like NFHS games. When I was there, they didn't have anything like that. I guess they have like STEM paths that you can choose. They have health science, and then they have agriculture. So I took agriculture in high school.
Okay, did you come to MTSU to do agriculture in the first place?
No, so I went to Motlow Community College 2 years out of high school. I got an academic scholarship there, so they paid for the 2 years is already paid for, but then they covered any of the other expenses like books, stuff like that. While I was there, I just did general studies. I thought I was going to do engineering out of high school. Figured out I did not like math as much after I took AP Calculus, so went to Motlow, just got general studies out of the way. And in physical science class there, a guy I had class with came to MTSU the semester before me, and he kind of helped start like the MTN media stuff at MTSU. So when I came in, majored in sports media, and he was kind of already there. So
you kind of found out about it through him and realized you were interested in that and wanted to give that a shot?
Yeah, because my first semester at MTSU, actually, I was business administration with a minor in marketing, and I didn't know that the sports media path was even an option until the first semester was already started. I saw what he was doing, so I kind of had to wait for that semester to be over. Couldn't just drop all my classes then, so marketing became my minor just because I already had credits in it, so just took one semester.
So how long were you actually in the sports media program?
I got to MTSU in the fall of 2019 when COVID hit was my first semester, or that fall was the first semester. I guess COVID technically kind of took over in the spring in January, so that was my first semester in the sports media, technically.
So you had 3 semesters in sports media total?
I had
4? Spring
of 2020, 4 technically, yeah. I graduated from spring of 2020 to fall of 2021.
So in less than 4 semesters, you were already like producing the Blue Raider Extra Point, the newscast, stuff like that. How were you able to like kind of latch on to those like skills so quickly?
That first semester that I was in sports media, I heard about Brett from Braden, Will. I knew him as Braden at Motlow. When he got up here, he went by Will. He was one of the hosts along with Abigail and Chase. So he told me to come by and kind of watch it. The guy that was running cameras then, kind of helping with production, I think he was kind of looking to get out of it a little bit. So first or second show that I was there, I just kind of shadowed him, and within like 2 weeks, he was gone and I did that. So that was more really just cameras and audio was what I started doing for Brett.
So you were just kind of thrown into the fire and had to sink or swim, and you just did what you had to do.
He was a good training me at it, but it wasn't the hardest thing to do. It's kind of sit there, hit buttons, and make sure you press record was the most important thing. But Yeah, kind of. But I mean, it was easy, and I enjoyed doing it. So
So if I said ready to record, rolling, I've got speed, action, you kind of have some flashbacks there.
a little bit. I remember. I think it was it would have been Houston Chapman then was making all the calls. I rolled whenever he told me to.
So I actually heard last week that your class at least, and it may be specifically you, were the first person to graduate from MTSU with a sports media major.
I think I was, because Braden Will that I was just talking about, I don't think he was technically a sports media major, so I think I was technically, from what I already had done with my minor from that first semester with marketing, I was a little ahead there, and my minor, I didn't honestly know what a minor really did, so I was like, if it gets me done quicker, that's fine. So I guess even though I came in a semester behind, I guess I was technically ahead. So I didn't even hear that until I think Dr. Bacon told me maybe a week or two before I graduated that I was going to be the first one with that degree. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I thought I was always behind because I was like, oh, I have to catch up to these people, but really I was older in age than them, and it wound up a little bit ahead as far as credits go.
So really on your bio and stuff when you introduce yourself, and you should just be like, hi, I'm Dillon Taylor. I was the first person to ever graduate from MTSU with a sports media degree.
I actually founded the university.
Yeah.
MTSU's named after me.
The entertainment college, I started that. That was all me.
They had alums like, if you're a country music fan, they have Chris Young, I know Hardy, but it's really, I was the pioneer,
Right. Just the backbone of the university and the brag building.
Held the place up, yeah.
So, and then you interned at Outkick, right? And that was kind of your in?
I interned, it was my last semester. I mean, I started in the summer, July maybe, but technically that was the internship that I needed for my last semester. Yeah, so I was wrapping up and wound up graduating that December while I was still there.
So how have your experiences with what we were talking about in the sports media, major and department, how has that kind of helped you as you progress into the professional realm with Fox and Outkick?
As crazy as it sounds, just filling in switching cameras and audio, especially the switching cameras, I think was kind of what, I don't know if it technically got me the job, but it definitely got me in the good enough graces to where I got hired, because my maybe first or second month interning there, we had just moved studios with Outkick, and the people that owned us before Fox didn't schedule someone to switch cameras that day, and it's 20 minutes before the show, and I'm technically the social media intern at that point, and they were like, wait, Dillon, did you say you switched cams before? I was like, yeah. They're like, can you switch cams today? Because we don't have anybody, and we've got to get a show on there in 20 minutes. I was like, yeah, so it's a different switcher, but it's the same technology, same idea. So I just sat down and switched the show that day. So they were, Hutton, Chad, Paul Kaharski, they were very excited about that. So when Fox took over, they kind of, doing little stuff like that, they kind of talked me up to the people coming in from Fox. It's like, hey, he does it all, basically. So that was
just
cool.
Perfect opportunity to kind of show off versatility.
Yeah, and the timing was perfect too. Coming out of college, not too many people have they told me I had a job waiting for me when Fox came in. You're always kind of, me at least, I'll believe it when I see it. But after that, I met with some of the Fox people when they would come down to Nashville, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna hire you full time. So I was like, couldn't have worked out any better, honestly.
What's the coolest experience you've had so far with Outkick?
Going to the Super Bowl was definitely the coolest. Even though I didn't get to go to the game, but being on Radio Row all week, that was the first time I've ever been that far west, especially downtown Los Angeles. And I did that. I got hired full time January 17th, and I think the Super Bowl was beginning of February. So I've been there technically been hired for 3 weeks, and I got to take all the gear, go to the airport, put it on a plane, land in LA, get it off, and then run shows for an entire week on Radio Row, which was awesome.
So you went from 4 semesters of sports media to the first person to ever graduate with the sports media degree to then running radio shows on Radio Row at the Super Bowl all within 2 years?
Yeah.
Right?
Radio and streaming on Radio Row. Yeah, because within 2 years, because out of high school, like I said, I thought I was going to do engineering, didn't want to do that, didn't really know what I wanted to do for 2 years, because I just, coming from a small town like I did, like it sounds bad, but there's just not a lot of opportunity. So I grew up watching sports all the time, but you never really think like, oh, maybe there's a job to do something like that. So that was, once that kind of hit, it was like, okay, I want to go do that. Like, didn't really look back from there, and it was really the timing just couldn't have been more perfect.
So you just graduated high school, you're going to do agriculture or engineering at Motlow, and I tell you that in 4 years you're going to be running an Outkick radio and streaming show on Radio Row in Los Angeles for the Super Bowl. How would you react to that?
Probably speechless, like I am right now. Like I stay so busy now, which is good, but sometimes you do sit back and think about it. And you're like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. Like and
that it happens that quickly,
right? Like I've had some I haven't had rough jobs, but like people our age, like you're young, just about everybody like cuts their teeth working in customer service. Soon as I got my license, I had to have a job. That's just like, my parents were great, but also at the same time, it was like you can drive around and you're able to work, like you're gonna pay for like your own stuff. And I was like, I'm glad they did that, because it's always like taught me like how to save money, like don't buy just like unnecessary stuff, but also know how to work. And I think that's probably contributed to the timing was perfect, but knowing how to do a little bit of everything was really what got me hired. So, and that's led to going from a PA to a full-time producer for the biggest media company in the world now. So that's, when you put it like that too, it's pretty crazy.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give somebody who is this fall just joined the sports media department at MTSU for the first time? This is their first semester and they want to get where you are.
Do everything. And well, I won't say it like that. Do everything that you can manage. Like, because, school, obviously, this may sound bad too, but like the experience helped me more than like what I learned in classrooms. Like that may sound bad in a teacher or professor.
It's a really hands-on kind of major.
Like we had projects and stuff for like Dan, for Dr. Bacon, Dr. Coleman, you have homework, like you have work you have to do in classes, but honestly, I don't think, maybe I would get proved wrong, but I don't think anybody would get a job in this field just by going to class and just doing the homework. It sounds dumb, they tell you in high school, get involved as much as you can, and I always was. But yeah, it's one of those things where even if you don't want to do the tech side, the producing side, if you don't want to be a writer, on-air talent, if you're not sure even, do everything you can. And I don't know if I want to do producing for the rest of my career, but right now it's fun, I like it, and it's a great job. So it's one of those things where I get people want to be on air, but at the same time, unless you're Stephen A. Smith, you're going to be writing and producing your own stuff anywhere you go. If you go news, if you go small town paper, statewide paper, anywhere you go, if you want to get your name out there, it's up to you. I guess would be the main advice.
I couldn't agree more. But yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.